Hey there everyone, my name's Jenna. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I thought it'd be fun if we went to some of the stores that just put out their new fall decor and kind of do like a little inspiration walk. So I like to just walk through and kind of brainstorm and get ideas with some of the new decor, maybe some things that I can keep an eye out for at the thrift stores or ways that I can style decor that I already have with maybe a new item or two. So I like to take you guys through the store and give you guys those styling tips and decorating ideas as I see the new products. So I hope you guys enjoy it and get some fun fall decorating inspiration for your own space this season. So let's go head to the stores and see what they got. Okay, so our first stop is Michael's, and I actually got a ton of inspiration from shopping here this season. The first thing that I spotted was this adorable gingham picnic basket, and something like this would be so sweet, filled with some dried hydrangeas or dried flowers and styled on somewhere like a shelf or a console table, or maybe even on top of a fridge or next to a fireplace for that casual collected feel. And it also could function as an aesthetic storage piece in somewhere like a pantry when you're not using it as decor. I also spotted these hammered jack-o'-lanterns, and if you remember from last year, I did that little hack where you just put a diffuser in a jack-o'-lantern for a super fun foggy effect. This is really cool if you're having a party, but for this one you would have to drill a hole in the bottom of the jack-o'-lantern for the cord. It would also though just be really pretty with a battery operated candle inside it too. Now, when it comes to fall tablescapes, I like to keep them really casual and classic. So as I've mentioned many times before on this channel, one of my favorite types of vases to decorate with during the fall and holiday season are amber glass vases. I just love the way that they complement greenery or a flower arrangement and help to add warmth to a space. They give off a really rustic feel, and I just love when the light shines through them because it gives the vase this really beautiful amber glow, which is so pretty for fall and the holidays. I also think it's really beautiful when you have mismatched amber glass out on somewhere like a tablescape or on a mantle. It just looks really casually collected, so whether you're sourcing them from places like thrift stores or just collecting different shapes from stores like this really unique hand-blown shape, it just helps to give a space that rustic autumnal feel. Another type of decor that I love to collect during the fall season are glass pumpkins, and I love that you can fill these with things like fairy lights, dried florals, pine cones, or dried orange slices for a really elevated feel, but it's super simple to do. And I also thought the little mushroom one was really cute too. I also really liked this large gathering basket, and I thought this would be super cute to use as decor, maybe next to a fireplace with some birch logs and fall stems popped inside. You could also swap the fall stems with greenery stems during the holidays, so it's really versatile. And I also appreciate how it has a vintagey feel to it, and it would also be great to use during the summer too, to bring in produce if you have a backyard or patio garden. And you guys know I love investing in those versatile, functional pieces, but this one is a little bit more decorative. It would be cute styled on some wall hooks to display fall florals, or it would just function nice as a more aesthetic mail drop zone. They did have this one in a large and a small size, so you could grab them both as a set, or just use one with some florals arranged inside instead of a wreath for on a front door or something like that. I also thought these little wine stoppers were so cute and totally gave me like Pottery Barn vibes. If you're gonna be a guest at a Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving this year, it's always nice to bring a bottle of wine as a hosting gift, and it would be super cute to tie one of these stoppers on the bottle with a ribbon. I also thought this pumpkin drink dispenser was really pretty, especially considering Williams Sonoma sells a similar punch bowl for $130 and would be a really aesthetic way to serve fall drinks at gatherings. Another piece that I loved, not only for fall but year-round, were these vintage inspired wall hooks, and these remind me a lot of those antique French wooden coat racks, and I just loved how this had an old world feel to it and how it looked against this blue wallpaper. So pretty. And these coat racks are a cheap solution just to dress up an empty wall in somewhere like a bedroom or an entryway, maybe with some art hanging above it. Just really simple and affordable. I also thought that this framed maple leaf was so sweet. You don't see oval frames too often, and I just loved how delicate and simple this was, and the concept would even be cute to just thrift an oval frame and then put a pressed or preserved leaf in the frame. I also loved this simple brass look pumpkin bucket, and I thought it would actually be kind of fun to use this as a base for faux or dried floral arrangements. I don't know how it would hold up to water, so I would just style some dried florals in here. You could also style it on a shelf with some scented pine cones for a touch of that warm brass in a space. Another piece that I really really liked was this handled ceramic vase. I immediately pictured this as a utensil crock, and I loved the vintagey look of it. Ceramics are also really versatile because you can just fill this with water and add florals or foraged branches. Just a fun, unique piece for a little pop of color that you can even use year-round if you want. And I showed you all in my fall decor must-haves video how I love these figural candles because you can quite simply just pop them next to the decor that you already have, and they instantly give your room an autumnal feel without having to do too much. I also love that you can recycle the containers and still use them as decor when you're done with the candle. And when it comes to faux fall florals, I tend to be a bit picky, but these mini rose stems immediately caught my eye. I went and I styled some in a little terracotta pot, and I just loved the casual rustic feel that it gave off. And I love incorporating a little mauve-y colored floral stem during the summer to fall transition. Also, the price on these was so good, and I thought that they gave off a lifelike look when they were all grouped together. And they also had some fun moody colored art pieces that would be fun to layer into some shelf styling for a vintage feel. You could also pop these on a kitchen countertop, and they had this entire English romance section here. And while it's not necessarily my personal style, I did think it was really fun, and I thought this plaster look white scrolls cubby would be so cute for holding spices on a countertop, or maybe in a bathroom for holding perfume and vanity items. Just something fun and different. I also loved these rustic branch stems. I showed you guys these in my last fall decorating video and how I styled them in a rustic pot for that freshly foraged feel with some pretty twiggy movement that kind of looks sculptural and a little subtle pop of texture with those blooms on there. Next, I popped on over to Target to see what other decorating inspo I could come across, and I really liked this mixed burgundy wreath with the ribbon on the bottom. I thought the coloring on this was really pretty, and I just love the idea of adding a ribbon onto a wreath that you already have, just for that added feminine touch that elevates it a little bit. I really loved this chocolate brown ceramic serving tray. Trays like this are so versatile because you can serve desserts, appetizers, but they can also double as a decor when you're not using them. They're perfect for grouping something like a candle and a little vase together for a cozy styling moment somewhere in a bathroom or on a console table. And I love this chocolate brown color for the holidays. And another use for these gorgeous ceramic plates are plate walls, and these are so fun in a kitchen or a dining area. You can use collected and thrifted dishware as wall art, and first of all, I loved the concept in general that this was a little soup and sandwich tray, but I just loved the shape of this so much that I feel like it would be perfect on a plate wall, and you would never know it's not vintage with those gorgeous carved edges and rustic glaze on there. They also had it in this beautiful large serving bowl, and then they also had it in a pitcher as well. And I love pitchers because of their versatility. You can use them as decor, you can use them as vases, or just an aesthetic way to serve a drink. So they're some of my favorite pieces to invest in because they can be used in so many different ways throughout the home. I also love berry bowls because they make washing out your fruit really easy, and they're just nice when you're serving fruit with something like a charcuterie board. You can just wash out your grapes or whatever and then pop them on the board in the bowl, and it looks really pretty. Now, typically I'm not a big fan of the faux trees from Target as of lately, but I thought this one was actually really pretty with that gorgeous burgundy color, and I thought it was a little pricey at $179, but I did show you guys a couple of years ago how I DIY'd a fall tree, and I loved bringing that into my space every autumn season. It did make a big impact in our home, and it was nice to have a little pop of color. And speaking of color, fall stems are one of the best and easiest ways that you can incorporate that autumnal feel into your space. My hyperfixation color for the last couple of years has been this beautiful deep plum hue. These reminded me a lot of the ones that they sell on A Floral for 20 bucks a stem. I've actually done a DIY in the past where I created similar stems, but the DIY basically cost the same as these cost, so definitely a good one if you're looking to get a similar look in your space. They also had it in a wreath, which I thought was kind of pretty, but my eye was immediately drawn to this preserved golden yarrow wreath. I love all of that beautiful warm texture in the golden color. This with a pretty velvet ribbon tied on it would be absolutely stunning. And I also love the concept of dried florals just because they're real picked pieces of nature, so that just elevates the look of the wreath, almost like a little hand-picked meadow that's been preserved in a gorgeous wreath form. Another piece that I loved was this this travertine side table. I thought it was a little bit pricey at $200, but I do appreciate that it has a really timeless, earthy look to it with that natural stone. And they do sell a similar side table on McGee & Co. for almost $1,000, so it could be a nice way to get that high-end look for less in a space. And this lamp totally reminded me of something you'd find at Anthropologie. I loved the woven shade and all of the texture and warmth that would add to a space. I also really appreciate how the woven material almost looks like it has a worn vintage look to it. And fall is a great time to collect those earthy toned staple pillows. I loved the fringe detail on this one and the really subtle pattern on here. The earth tone brown color is so pretty for layering. I like having a large neutral pillow like this as my base pillow, and then I'll layer in my pattern and my color in my smaller pillows that I put in front of it. This chocolate brown pillow is really pretty for like a moodier look, and I actually loved how on the other side it has this subtle pinstripe detail with the chocolate brown zipper contrasting it. Dark brown pillows can be a little bit harder to find, so I really liked this one. And then this pillow would be an example of something that I would throw in front of like my neutral pillows just for a fun pop, or maybe if I was doing like a seasonal pillow. This one would actually be really pretty year-round though for that warm vintagey feel. And I've been on the lookout lately for a really aesthetic teapot that I can have out on my oven at all times. I've been making a lot of tea lately, and I liked this one with the earthy brown and copper tones on it. And I don't know about you all, but I have my comfy throws and then my decorative throws. I thought that this would be a really beautiful decorative throw that would add some cozy fall warmth for the holiday season. And we have a very similar chunky knit throw that I actually style on our swivel chair year round. And this just helps things feel and look a little bit more cozy. And I love that this blanket reminds me of something that you'd find at Pottery Barn, especially since it's decorative. It's nice that it's only a fraction of the price. And if you host or entertain for the holidays, it's always nice to have a little bar cart like this because they're so versatile. You can set up a little drink or a snack station if you're short on counter space, and then you can also just style it as a little bar in a living or a dining room when you're not entertaining. And I just loved the marble on this with the combo of that gold. I thought it was really, really pretty looking. And I'm always on the hunt for versatile vases that I can use during the fall season and then also throughout the rest of the year. And I really loved the unique shape and detail on this one, and I thought it would contrast nicely with some colorful fall stems. I just loved that rustic glaze and the organic edges for almost like a French country look, which I love. All right, everyone, that about wraps up this little fall decor inspiration walk. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help to support the channel. And also, I will try my best to link everything that I can from the video down below in the description box. And I'll try to pin a comment as well in the order that everything was shown if you want to reference something or you want to try to easily find something. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.